Dr. Eleanor Rodriguez had always been curious about things that could end her life. Maybe that's what made her such a good scientist on this strange new planet they call Kepler 442b. The research station sat like a metal bubble in the middle of a forest that looked almost like Earth, except the trees were purple and the grass felt like silk under your boots. Eleanor walked through the station's corridors, her tablet showing readings that made no sense. For 3 weeks, the motion sensors had been picking up unusual activity in the restricted zone. The animals there were supposed to be simple predators, but the patterns looked almost intelligent. You're not thinking of going out there alone, are you? Commander Jake Morrison stood in the doorway, his arms crossed. He'd been watching over the research team like a protective father since they'd arrived 6 months ago. Eleanor smiled and shook her head. Just looking at the data, these movement patterns are fascinating. But she was lying. The scientist in her needed to know what was happening in that forest. The readings showed something big moving through the trees, something that avoided their cameras and sensors with almost perfect timing. No simple animal could be that smart. That evening, Eleanor made her choice. She grabbed her sample kit and headed for the forest. The purple trees seemed to whisper. As she walked deeper into the restricted zone, her heart pounded, but not from fear. This was the feeling she lived for, the moment when discovery waited just beyond the next tree. The forest fell silent. Even the strange bird-like creatures that usually filled the air with their calls had gone quiet. Eleanor stopped walking and listened. Something was watching her. She turned slowly, her eyes scanning the purple shadows between the trees. That's when she saw it. A figure stood 30 feet away, perfectly still among the trees. At first, Eleanor thought it was another researcher in a strange suit, but as her eyes adjusted, she realized this was no human. The being was tall, maybe 12 feet, with a body that moved like water. Its skin looked like living crystal, shifting between deep green and silver in the filtered sunlight. The face was almost human, but the eyes were too large and too bright, like stars trapped in pale skin. Eleanor's breath caught in her throat. This wasn't just some animal. This was something that thought, something that planned. The being stepped forward, and Eleanor saw the truth that would change everything. You should not be here. Little creature, the being said in perfect English. Its voice was like wind through leaves, soft but carrying a threat that made Eleanor's skin crawl. Eleanor's scientific mind raced even as her survival instincts screamed at her to run. You can talk. You're intelligent. We didn't know. We thought you were just animals. The being's mouth curved into something that might have been a smile, but Eleanor saw the fangs, long, curved, and dripping with something that caught the light like liquid diamonds. Animals? The being stepped closer. We have watched your kind for months. You poison our air with your machines. You take our plants. For your experiments, you are the animals here. Eleanor raised her hand slowly, showing she meant no harm. We're scientists. We're trying to understand this world. We don't want to hurt anyone. Understanding comes too late, the being said. I am called Zerathuk, and I am the guardian of this forest. Your presence here ends now. Before Eleanor could react, Zerathuk moved with impossible speed. Eleanor felt a sharp pain in her shoulder, like two burning needles pushed deep into her flesh. The world spun, and she fell to her knees. My venom has ended thousands of lives, Zerathuk said, stepping back to watch Eleanor fall. It stops the heart in seconds. It turns the blood to poison. No creature has ever survived it. Eleanor felt the fire spreading through her body, her vision blurred, and every breath felt like swallowing glass. But she stayed conscious. She could still think, still see Zerathuk's surprised face staring down at her. Impossible, Zerathuk whispered. You should be dead. Your heart should have stopped. Your mind should be gone. Eleanor forced herself to speak through the pain. Humans. We're hard to kill. We adapt. We survive. Minutes passed. Eleanor's body fought against the poison, her temperature spiking and dropping like a roller coaster. But she remained awake, aware, defiant. Zerathuk crouched beside her, studying Eleanor like a puzzle that made no sense. What are you? What kind of creature survives the death I bring? Eleanor managed a weak smile. I'm a scientist. We're the stubborn to die easy. The pain began to change, becoming something else. Elena felt her heart racing, but not with fear. Something was happening to her body, something that felt almost like improvement. Her vision became sharper. The sounds of the farce grew clearer. Even through the agony, she could feel herself changing. "This is not possible," Zerathik said, backing away. "Your species cannot be immune to my gift of death." Elena pushed herself up onto her elbows, her strength returning in waves. "Maybe your poison isn't meant to kill us. Maybe it's meant to make us stronger." The look in Zerathik's eyes shifted from confusion to something that might have been. Feared Elena had survived the impossible. She had taken death itself and turned it into something else. "What are you?" Zerathik asked again, but this time the question carried respect instead of threats. Elena stood up slowly, her body still fighting the venom, but winning the battle. "I'm human, and I think we need to talk." The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Elena had come looking for answers about strange readings and animal behavior. Instead, she had found first contact with an intelligent species, survived a deadly attack, and discovered that humans might be more adaptable than anyone had imagined. But this was just the beginning. Elena could see in Zerathik's eyes that this meeting would change everything for both their species. The question was whether that change would bring understanding or war. Elena's legs shook as she stood face to face with Zerathik. The venom still burned through her veins like liquid fire, but she was alive. More than alive, she felt different. Her senses seemed sharper, her mind clearer despite the poison coursing through her body. Zerathik circled her slowly, like a predator studying prey that had somehow escaped death. "This makes no sense," she whispered, her crystalline scales catching the purple light filtering through the trees. "I have killed creatures 10 times your size with half the venom I gave you." Elena touched her shoulder where the fangs had pierced. Her skin, the wound was already healing, leaving only the small marks that tingle with strange energy. "Maybe we're not like the other creatures you've met." "Impossible," Zerathik hissed. "I have studied your kind for months. You are weak, soft, your skin breaks easily, your bones are fragile. You should be the easiest to kill." Elena felt a flash of anger despite her situation. "You've been watching us? Studying us like lab rats? We study all threats," Zerathik said, her voice growing cold. "Your people came here without permission, built your metal structures, poisoned our air with your machines. We have dealt with invaders before." The words hit Elena like a physical blow. "Invaders? We're scientists. We're here to learn about this world, not destroy it." Zerathik's laugh was like breaking glass. "Every species says the same thing. They come to learn, to explore, to understand. But they always end up taking. They always end up killing." Elena's vision blurred for a moment, and she stumbled. The venom was still working its way through her system, but instead of shutting down her organs, it seemed to be changing them. Her heart raced, then slowed, then found a new rhythm that felt stronger than before. "Tell me," Zerathik said, moving closer. "Why do you still breathe? My venom destroys the nervous system. It should have stopped your heart, collapsed your lungs, shut down your brain. Yet you stand here, talking to me." Elena thought about her childhood on Earth. Growing up in the Amazon rainforest where her parents had been researchers, she remembered the countless vaccines, the experimental treatments, the exposure to dozens of different toxins that had built up her immune system over the years. "Humans adapt," Elena said simply. "We've been surviving poisons for thousands of years. Snake bites, spider venom, plant toxins. Our bodies learn to fight back. This is different." Zerathik insisted. "My venom is not from your world. Your body should have no defense against it." Elena felt another wave of dizziness. But this time it was different. Images flashed through her mind, memories that weren't her own. She saw the forest as it had been centuries ago, filled with different creatures, different plants. She saw great ships falling from the sky, burning the trees, poisoning the rivers. "You're showing me something," Elena whispered. "The venom is connecting us somehow." Zerathik's eyes widened. "That should be impossible. Only our own kind can share memories through the venom. It is how we pass knowledge from one generation to the next." Elena saw more images, Zorathic as people living in harmony with the forest, their cities built among the trees without damaging them. Then came the invaders, creatures in metal suits that cut down everything in their path. The desperate fight to survive, the decision to kill any outsider who entered their territory. "You're not monsters," Elena said, tears streaming down her face. "You're survivors. You're protecting your home. We do what we must," Zorathic said. But her voice had lost its edge. "We have watched species after species come to our world, promise peace, then destroy everything we love. We learned that the only way to survive is to kill them first." Elena felt the venom changing her again, her body temperature spiking. But instead of pain, she felt energy coursing through her muscles. Her reflexes became lightning fast. When a purple leaf fell from above, she caught it without thinking, moving faster than she ever had before. "What is happening to me?" Elena asked, staring at her hands. They looked the same, but she could feel the difference. Every nerve, every muscle, every cell seemed to be working better than before. Zorathic stepped back, fear clear in her star-bright eyes. "The venom is not killing you. It is making you stronger. This has never happened before." Elena's mind raced with possibilities. What if your venom wasn't designed to kill? What if it was meant to change, to improve? What if the other species couldn't handle the transformation, but humans can? "You speak madness," Zorathic said, but Elena could hear the uncertainty in her voice. "Think about it," Elena pressed on, her thoughts coming faster now. "Your people can share memories through the venom. You said it passes knowledge between generations. What if it's not just poison? What if it's evolution in liquid form?" The forest around them seemed to pulse with life. Elena could hear things she'd never noticed before, the whispered conversations of insects, the deep breathing of the trees, the distant calls of creatures miles away. Her body was changing, adapting, becoming something new. "If this is true," Zorathic said slowly, "then your people are not like the others. They are not just another species to be eliminated." Elena nodded, though the movement made her dizzy. "We don't have to be enemies. We could be partners. Your people know this world better than anyone. We could help each other." But even as she spoke, Elena knew it wouldn't be that simple. Fear and mistrust had built up over centuries. Both species would have to choose between the safety of isolation and the risk of cooperation. "My people will not believe this," Zorathic said. "They will say you are trying to trick us, to weaken our defenses." "Then we'll have to show them," Elena said, her voice growing stronger as her body adapted to the venom. "We'll have to prove that humans are different." The sound of voices echoed through the forest. Elena recognized Commander Morrison's voice calling her name. The rescue team was coming. "Your people search for you," Zorathic observed. "They will find us soon." Elena felt a moment of panic. If the military found them here, if they saw Zorathic as a threat, the chance for peace would disappear in gunfire and blood. "You have to go," Elena said urgently. "If they see you, they'll shoot first and ask questions later." Zorathic smiled, showing those deadly fangs. "And if I leave you here, will you tell them about me? Will you bring more of your kind to hunt us?" Elena met her gaze steadily. "I'll tell them we need to talk, all of us, before it's too late." The voices grew closer. Zorathic melted back into the shadows between the trees, her crystalline skin making her nearly invisible. "This is not over," Elena Rodriguez, her voice whispered from the darkness. "Your survival has changed everything. Now we must decide what comes next." Elena was alone when the rescue team found her, but she was no longer the same person who had entered the forest. The venom had changed her, and through her, it might change the fate of both species. Elena heard the rescue team crashing through the forest long before they saw her. Her enhanced hearing picked up every footstep, every whispered command, every click of weapon safeties being turned off. The venom had changed her in ways she was still discovering. "Elena," Commander Morrison's voice boomed through the trees. "Where are you?" She stepped out from behind a massive purple tree, trying to look normal despite feeling like electricity was running through her veins. "I'm here, Jake. I'm okay." Morrison emerged from the undergrowth with 6 other team members. all armed and looking ready for trouble. His face showed relief mixed with anger. "What were you thinking? This area is restricted for a reason." "I was collecting samples," Elena lied, hoping her voice sounded steady. "The readings showed unusual activity, and I wanted to investigate." Dr. Chen, the team's medic, rushed over with his scanner. "You look pale. Are you hurt?" The thermal readings showed your body temperature spiking and dropping for the last hour. Elena's mind raced. How could she explain what had happened without causing panic? "I'm fine, just tired from the walk." But as Chen ran his scanner over her, she saw his expression change. "This is impossible. Your cellular activity is off the charts. Your reflexes are testing at superhuman levels. What happened to you out here?" Before Elena could answer, the forest around them went silent. The strange bird-like creatures stopped their calls. Even the wind seemed to pause. Elena's enhanced senses picked up movement in the trees above them. "We need to leave," Elena said quickly. "Now." Morrison raised his weapon. "What do you know?" "That we don't." That's when the first figure dropped from the canopy above. Then another, and another, within seconds. They were surrounded by beings that looked like living crystal and shadow. "Contact!" Morrison shouted. Defensive positions. The team scattered, taking cover behind trees and rocks. Elena found herself caught in the middle as weapons pointed in every direction. She could see Zarathic among the figures, her star bright, eyes fixed on Elena with an expression that might have been disappointment. "Don't shoot," Elena yelled, but it was too late. The first shots rang out, energy blasts that lit up the forest. But the beings moved like water, flowing around the attacks. With impossible grace, Elena watched in horror as one of them touched Sergeant Davis on the arm. He screamed and fell to his knees. "My arm's on fire," Davis shouted, but he didn't fall unconscious. Instead, he kept fighting, his movements becoming faster and more precise despite the pain. Another being struck Dr. Chen with those deadly fangs. Chen stumbled but remained standing, his eyes wide with shock and confusion. "I should be dead," he whispered. "Why am I not dead?" Elena realized what was happening. The venom wasn't killing the humans. It was changing them, just like it had changed her. But her team didn't understand. They kept fighting, kept shooting, turning what could have been a conversation into a battle. "Stop." Elena ran between the two groups, her enhanced speed allowing her to dodge the energy blasts. Everyone stopped fighting. Morrison grabbed her arm. "Elena, get back. These things are trying to kill us." "No, they're not." Elena pulled free with strength she didn't know she possessed. "They're trying to understand why we're not dying." Zarathic's voice cut through the chaos. "Your weapons cannot harm us, humans, but we do not understand why our gift of death does not work on you." "Gift of death." Morrison raised his weapon again. "You're trying to murder us." Elena stepped between them. "Jake, listen to me. They're not trying to kill us. The venom is changing us, making us stronger. Look at Davis and Chen. They're not dying. They're evolving." It was true. Davis was moving with newfound speed and precision, his injured arm now working better than before. Chen's eyes had taken on a brighter quality, and he seemed to be seeing things the rest of them couldn't. "This is impossible," Chen said, studying his scanner readings. "My neural activity has increased by 40%. My reflexes are twice as fast as they were an hour ago." One of the beings stepped forward, smaller than Zarathic but equally graceful. "The humans do not die from the sacred venom. They become more than they were." "Sacred venom?" Elena turned to Zarathic. "You never told me it was sacred." Zarathic's scales shifted color, showing what Elena was beginning to recognize as embarrassment. "The venom is how we pass knowledge and strength from one generation to the next. It is the most precious thing we possess. To give it to an outsider should mean death." Morrison lowered his weapon slightly. "You're saying this poison is actually some kind of upgrade?" "Not poison," another being said. "Evolution. Growth. The becoming of more than what was." Elena felt the pieces clicking together in her enhanced mind. "That's why you kill other species. They can't handle the transformation. Their bodies reject the venom and shut down. But humans can adapt to it. This changes everything. Zerathik said, her voice filled with wonder and worry. If humans can accept our sacred gift, then you are not invaders, you are potential family. The word family hung in the air like a challenge. Elena could see the fear in her team's eyes. They were soldiers and scientists, not diplomats. The idea of joining with an alien species was beyond their training. We need to get back to the base, Morrison said. Command needs to know about this. No, Elena said firmly. If we go back now, if we report this as a hostile encounter, Earth will send warships. They'll try to conquer this world. And if we don't report it, Morrison countered, more people will die when they encounter these creatures. Elena looked at her team, seeing the changes already beginning in those who had been touched by the venom. Davis's eyes had become sharper, more focused. Chen moved with a fluid grace that reminded her of the beings around them. What if we don't have to choose? Elena asked. What if we can find a way for both species to coexist? Zerathik stepped closer, her crystalline scales catching the fading light. Your people would have to prove they are different from the others who came before. They would have to show they can be trusted, and your people would have to stop attacking humans on sight, Elena replied. We both have to take risks. The forest around them seemed to pulse with tension. Two species stood at a crossroads, each carrying centuries of fear and mistrust. The choices they made in the next few minutes would determine whether their meeting would lead to war or to something unprecedented in galactic history. Elena felt the venom still working in her system, still changing her, still connecting her to both worlds. She was becoming something new, something that might be able to bridge the gap between human and alien. But first, she had to convince both sides to stop fighting long enough to listen. We have a choice, Elena said, her voice carrying to both groups. We can be enemies, or we can be something the galaxy has never seen before. We can be partners. The silence that followed her words felt like the entire world holding its breath, waiting to see which future would be chosen. 3 days had passed since the encounter in the forest, and Elena barely recognized herself in the mirror. Her eyes had taken on a subtle glow, like starlight trapped in amber. Her reflexes were so fast that she'd accidentally broken to coffee cups just trying to drink her morning coffee. Dr. Chen ran another scan on her blood, his own transformed features showing the same amazement he'd displayed for the past 72 hours. Elena, this is incredible. Your DNA is rewriting itself. The venom isn't just changing your body, it's upgrading your entire genetic code. Elena watched the data scroll across the screen. Her heart rate had stabilized at a rhythm that was stronger and more efficient than before. Her brain activity showed patterns that suggested enhanced memory and processing speed. Even her bones were becoming denser and more flexible. What about the others? Elena asked, referring to the team members who had been touched by the venom. Davis can see in complete darkness now, Chen reported. His night vision is better than any technology we have, and Rodriguez can hear conversations from half a mile away. She's been monitoring radio chatter from the main base without any equipment. Elena felt a mix of wonder and worry. Are we still human? More human than before, I'd say. Chen replied, it's like the venom is helping us become what humans could be. Given enough time to evolve naturally, a soft chime indicated someone was at the lab door. Elena opened it to find Commander Morrison, but he looked different too. The gray in his hair had faded, and his face seemed years younger. The venom had touched him as well, though he'd only received a small dose. We need to talk, Morrison said. All of us, the transformed team members, Elena followed him to a secure conference room where the others waited. Davis sat perfectly still, his enhanced vision scanning every corner of the room. Rodriguez had her eyes closed, listening to sounds none of them could hear. Chen fidgeted with equipment that seemed to respond to his touch in ways it never had before. I've been thinking about what happened in the forest, Morrison began. About what Elena said regarding coexistence. I've also been thinking about what Earth Command will do when they learn about this. They'll want to weaponize it, Davis said quietly. They'll want to create super soldiers using alien venom. Or they'll want to destroy it, Rodriguez added. Some people in command fear anything they can't control. Elena felt her enhanced mind working through the possibilities. What if we could show them a different way? What if we could prove that cooperation is better than conquest? Morrison pulled up a holographic display showing the planet's surface. I've been studying the geological data. This world is dying, Elena. The previous invasions that Zorathic people talked about, they left scars that are still poisoning the ecosystem. Elena studied the readings. Radiation levels in certain areas were off the charts. Chemical contamination had spread through the water systems. No wonder Zorathic people were so protective of their territory. They're not just defending their home, Elena realized. They're trying to heal it. That's what I think too, Morrison said. And if that's true, then maybe we can help them. Human technology, combined with their biological knowledge, might be able to restore this world. Rodriguez opened her eyes, her enhanced hearing picking up something the others missed. We have visitors coming. 3 of them, moving through the forest toward the base. Elena's heart rate spiked. Is one of them Zorathic? I think so. Her movement pattern is different from the others, more fluid. Elena made a decision that would change everything. I'm going to meet them, alone. Absolutely not, Morrison said. It's too dangerous, Jake. I'm probably the only one who can communicate with them properly. The venom has connected me to their memory-sharing system. I can understand them in ways the rest of you can't. Elena left the base through the rear exit, her enhanced senses guiding her through the forest. She found Zorathic waiting in a clearing, accompanied by 2 other beings she hadn't seen before. Elena, Zorathic said, her voice carrying warmth that hadn't been there before. You look well. The sacred venom has accepted you completely. It's changed all of us, Elena replied. But we're still human. We're still ourselves. One of the other beings stepped forward. This one was older, with scales that had turned almost transparent with age. I am Kethara, elder of the forest clans. Zorathic has told us impossible things about your species. What kind of impossible things? Elena asked. That you do not seek to destroy. Kethara said, that you wish to heal rather than harm, that you could be trusted with our most sacred gift. Elena felt the weight of generations of fear and mistrust in the elder's words. Your people have been hurt before. I understand why you don't trust outsiders. Show me, Kethara said, stepping closer. Let me share your memories as you have shared ours. Elena hesitated. She didn't know what the memory sharing would reveal about humanity's history. Earth's past was filled with wars, environmental destruction, and countless mistakes. But she also knew it was filled with redemption, recovery, and the endless human ability to learn and grow. Yes, Elena said, look into my memories, see who we really are. Kethara placed her hand on Elena's forehead, and suddenly Elena felt her mind opening like a flower. The elders saw everything, humanity's wars and their peace treaties, their environmental disasters and their recovery efforts, their mistakes and their determination to do better. When the connection ended, Kethara stepped back with tears in her star-bright eyes. Your people have made many of the same mistakes we have, but you learned from them, you grew stronger. The third being spoke for the first time. I am Vexthar, keeper of the healing songs. Your memories show something remarkable. Humans who poisoned their own world, then worked for generations to heal it. Elena nodded. We almost destroyed Earth, but we learned that we could only survive by working together, by taking care of our planet instead of just taking from it. This is why the sacred venom does not kill you, Zorathic said. Your species has already learned the greatest lesson, that true strength comes not from destroying, but from healing and growing. Kethara looked thoughtful. There is something you must know about our world. The previous invaders left weapons buried deep in the planet's core. They are still poisoning the water, the air, everything we need to survive. Elena felt pieces clicking together in her enhanced mind. That's why you need to stop every invasion. You're not just protecting your territory, you're protecting the entire planet from further contamination. Yes, Vexthar said, and we are losing the battle. Our people grow fewer each generation. The poison spreads faster than we can contain it. Elena's heart raced with possibility. What if we could help you? Human technology might be able to neutralize the contamination. and your biological knowledge could help us understand how to heal the damage. The three beings exchanged glances, communicating in ways Elena's enhanced senses could almost but not quite follow. This would require trust beyond anything our peoples have ever attempted, Kethar said finally. Your leaders would have to prove they are different from those who came before. And our leaders would have to overcome generations of fear, Zerathik added. Many of our people would rather die fighting than risk trusting again. Elena felt the weight of both species' futures resting on her shoulders. The venom had made her stronger, faster, smarter, but it had also made her responsible for bridging to worlds that had every reason to remain enemies. Then we'll have to show them, Elena said. Both sides. We'll have to prove that cooperation is not only possible, but necessary for survival. The forest around them seemed to pulse with anticipation, as if the planet itself was waiting to see whether its children would choose healing over destruction, growth over fear, and hope over the safety of isolation. The alarm siren screamed across the research station as Elena ran through the corridors. Her enhanced hearing picked up the roar of engines in the sky. Earth Command had arrived 3 days early, and they brought warships. Elena, Commander. Morrison's voice crackled through her comm device. Get to the command center. Now. Elena burst through the doors to find chaos. The main screen showed 6 massive military vessels descending through the atmosphere, their weapons systems already charging up. Morrison stood at the center, his face pale but determined. How much time do we have? Elena asked. Maybe an hour. Before they reached the surface, Morrison replied. Admiral Stevens is demanding a full report on hostile alien activity. He's planning to secure the entire planet. Elena felt her enhanced mind racing through possibilities. Jake, if those ships start shooting, everything we've built with Zerathik as people will be destroyed. Both species will be at war within hours. Dr. Chen looked up from his scanner, his transformed features showing deep concern. It gets worse. I'm reading massive energy signatures from the forest. The alien clans are mobilizing for battle too. Through the windows, Elena could see movement in the purple trees. Hundreds of crystalline figures were emerging from the forest, their scales shifting to match the shadows. They move with deadly purpose, preparing to defend their home against another invasion. We're caught in the middle of a war that doesn't need to happen, Elena said, her voice filled with desperation. Rodriguez, her enhanced hearing picking up radio chatter, suddenly went rigid. Elena, the Admiral is giving orders to use chemical weapons. They're planning to poison the entire forest. Elena's blood ran cold. Chemical weapons would destroy the ecosystem that Zerathik as people had spent generations trying to heal. It would be genocide disguised as military strategy. I have to stop this, Elena said. Heading for the door. Elena, wait, Morrison grabbed her arm. You can't take on an entire fleet by yourself. I'm not going to fight them, Elena replied. I'm going to show them what they're really destroying. Elena ran toward the forest, her enhanced speed carrying her faster than any human had ever moved. She found Zerathik at the edge of the tree line, surrounded by dozens of her people. Their scales had turned dark with anger, and their fangs gleamed in the afternoon light. Elena, Zerathik said, her voice heavy with sadness. Your people have come to finish what the others started. We will not let them poison our world again. Zerathik, listen to me, Elena said, breathing hard. Not all humans are like the ones who came before. We can still stop this. How? Zerathik demanded. Your warships fill the sky. Your weapons are already targeting our homes. What can words do against such force? Elena felt the venom in her system responding to her emotions, heightening her senses and clearing her thoughts. The same thing that saved me from your bite. We adapt. We find a way to survive that no one expects. Above them, the first of the Earth ships broke through the cloud cover. Its weapons systems hummed with deadly energy, targeting the forest where they stood. I need you to trust me, Elena said. One more time. Let me show your people and mine that there's another way. Zerathik stared at her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. What do you need us to do? Elena's enhanced mind was already working. Through the plan, I need your people to do something that's never been done before. I need you to share your memories with humans who haven't been changed by the venom. Impossible, said Kethara, the elder who had emerged from the forest. Only those who have received the sacred gift can join the memory sharing. Then we'll have to change that, Elena said. The venom has made me a bridge between our species. Maybe I can carry your memories to others. The first energy blast struck the ground 50 feet away, sending up a cloud of purple dust and shattered stone. The war had begun. Elena ran toward the research station, but instead of taking cover, she climbed onto the roof. She could see the Earth ships circling above, their weapons charging for another strike. Admiral Stevens, Elena called through her comm device. This is Dr. Eleanor Rodriguez. I'm requesting immediate communication. Static filled the channel for a moment. Then a gruff voice responded. Dr. Rodriguez, you're ordered to evacuate immediately. We're clearing the hostile zone. Admiral, you're not fighting hostiles, Elena said. You're about to commit genocide against a dying species that's trying to heal their world. Our intelligence shows aggressive alien activity, Stevens replied. They've attacked our personnel with biological weapons. Elena felt Zorathic's memories flowing through her mind, shared through the venom that had changed her. She saw the planet as it had been before the invasions, green and beautiful and alive. She saw the gradual poisoning, the desperate attempts to heal the damage, the generations of fear and loss. Admiral, I'm going to share something with you, Elena said. Something that will change how you see this world. Elena pressed her hand against the communication array, letting the venom-enhanced connection flow through the metal and into the ship's systems. It was impossible, but the venom had made many impossible things real. Admiral Stevens' voice changed, becoming filled with wonder and shock. What am I seeing? You're seeing the truth, Elena said. This planet is dying because of weapons left by previous invaders. These people aren't trying to kill us. They're trying to save their world. Through the connection, Elena shared everything, Zorathic's memories of the invasions, the slow poisoning of the ecosystem, the desperate fight for survival. She showed him the healing songs, the sacred venom that passed knowledge between generations, the hope that maybe, someday, their world could be green again. My God, Stevens whispered. What have we done? Nothing yet, Elena said. But we have a choice. We can be another invasion force, or we can be something this galaxy has never seen before. We can be healers. The weapons systems on the Earth ships powered down. Elena felt a surge of hope as the forest around her began to glow with soft, welcoming light. Dr. Rodriguez, Stevens said, his voice filled with new understanding. What do you need from us? Elena looked down at Zorathic, who was staring up at her with amazement. We need to work together. Human technology and alien wisdom. We need to heal this world. Over the following weeks, something incredible happened. Human engineers worked alongside alien healers to build devices that could neutralize the ancient contamination. The venom, shared carefully and voluntarily, enhanced human abilities while alien knowledge showed them how to repair damaged ecosystems. Elena stood in a forest that was changing from purple to green, watching human children play alongside young aliens whose scales sparkle with joy. The venom had given her enhanced senses, but it had given both species something more valuable, the ability to see beyond their fears. You were right, Zorathic said, approaching with a sample of crystal clear water from a stream that had been poisoned for centuries. Your species doesn't just survive, you help others survive too. Elena smiled, feeling the venom still working in her system, still connecting her to both worlds. Maybe that's what makes us human. We don't just adapt to survive, we adapt to help others thrive. The planet pulsed with new life around them. Two species that should have been enemies had become partners in healing, proving that evolution's greatest gift wasn't strength or intelligence, but the ability to grow beyond fear and choose hope instead. In the end, Elena realized, the most venomous bite in the galaxy had delivered not death, but the antidote to centuries of mistrust and fear, and that was the most human thing of all.